What's going on, guys? Welcome back to Life by the Bow. As you can see, we got storms brewing behind us, so you know what we do when the weather is too bad to be out on the water. We talk boats. So what we're gonna do today is we're gonna talk about some things that we have on our boat that you guys need, or we at least suggest when you are purchasing your new boat. So let's go ahead, let's get right into it. So before we get into today's video, I would like to thank Un-Duz-It for sponsoring this video. And today I'd like to feature their spray-on protectant because I'm really adamant about using protectants just because they're so easy to use. Un-Duz-It's protectant is extremely versatile, where it uses UV inhibitors, which are useful towards restoring and protecting things like gel coat, metals, windshields, and things like gauges and the head unit here on my console. But it's very simple, guys. You just spray on and wipe off. And that prevents premature UV fading, which is probably one of the biggest factors that's gonna cause wear and tear on your boat. However, as you guys know, we live here on the ocean, and the elements that we face are absolutely horrendous. So we also like to use it on our outdoor furniture, our cars, and it's also great for RVs and all of your toys in between. Go ahead, click the link down in the description if you guys are as serious as us when it comes to keeping our toys looking brand new. But speaking of toys, let's go ahead, let's talk about all the gadgets we have outfitted on this boat here behind us in order for you guys to understand how we use these tools so you guys can fine-tune your boating experience. So you just bought your brand new boat and you're excited, everything sounds great, and you're so pumped to use it. But one thing I can say is after we bought this bay boat behind us, we added a lot of tools, or accessories as other people will call them, just to make our boating experience that much better. Though you don't need the things that we're about to talk about in this video, I promise you by the end of the video, if you guys listen to what I have to say, these things are absolute game changers. That's why we use them on our boat. And that's why boating is sometimes very, very easy for us, because we utilize all of these tools, as you can see on the boat behind us. But the first thing that we're gonna talk about, guys, is a GPS chart plotter. A GPS chart plotter is so important for many reasons. First things first, you guys want to always know where you're going on the water. You always want to be paying attention to that unit whenever you're in unfamiliar waters or you're just trying to learn the waters. Not only is that chart plotter going to show you where to go, it's also going to give you things like tides. Some of them give you radar if you choose to outfit them that way. So that way, if you're running from storms and you always want to make sure to be safe, there's so many features that these chart plotters possess that you can use to your advantage whenever you're out there on the water. What we like more than anything is, say for example, when we go to new areas, we love Crystal River. We're actually going to be going there really soon. There's a lot of shallow sandbars around. So by using our chart plotter, we can stay away from those sandbars, make sure that we're staying in those deeper channels so we don't ever end up damaging our boat or get caught up on a sandbar, because nobody wants to be that guy. It's also extremely useful here in the Florida Keys. We use it a lot of the times to find fishing spots. You can use it to find coral heads. You can use it to find bottom structure. And at the same time, these things can also be dangerous towards us. You know, a coral head sticking up on a low tide, if you're not paying attention and you run over that coral head, it can damage your boat. So, as mentioned, chart plotter is probably always the #1 thing that I would add to my boat first and foremost, because you always want to make sure that wherever you're going is the safest route. You don't have to worry about damaging your boat, and you also don't have to worry about putting the environment or others in harm. So the next thing I'm going to talk about is a trolling motor. And in previous years, when you would think of a trolling motor, you typically thought about shallow water inshore fishing. And we use our trolling motor for shallow water inshore fishing all the time. It's a great tool to have, simply because inshore game fish, they can be very spooky, and we like to use that electric trolling motor just to stay very quiet, very stealthy, whenever we're moving across the mangroves or we're moving across the flats. And that's a very important tool to have when inshore fishing. However, trolling motors now have tremendous offshore capabilities as well. We use our trolling motor offshore all the time simply because of spot lock. If you guys don't know what spot lock is, basically what it does is it locks in a GPS coordinate on the actual trolling motor itself, so that trolling motor will keep you in a particular spot so you never have to drop anchor ever again. And you know, there may be the guy that's watching and he's very old-fashioned. He's like, you know what, I don't need that. I'll continue to pull my anchor. But if you're out bottom fishing and you're serious about bottom fishing and you're pulling anchor multiple times throughout the day, there is nothing easier than being able to anchor with the push of a button. And this is something that is a complete game changer. And what's great about trolling motors too, it's previously you really only saw them on skiffs and bay boats. Now they make trolling motors big enough to put on center consoles. If we really wanted to, we could put one on our 39-foot contender. Though it probably wouldn't hold great and very strong current, you know, it still would work. So trolling motor is definitely one of the things that should be on the list whenever you are considering outfitting your boat with a particular accessory. Moving along, we're gonna talk about hydraulic anchor pulls. This is one of those things that people may think, oh, that's not something I need because I have an anchor or I have an anchor pull that I can just shove right into the ground and they serve the same exact purpose. Yes, that may be true, but there's nothing better than being able to push a button and stop right there in your tracks whenever you're out there on the water. Just the same exact way that you have brakes on your car, these are basically brakes on a boat. Now, they don't work at high speeds, obviously, but if you were ever to be in heavy current or you're drifting up to a dock too fast, you can just drop the power poles and boom, you're stopped right there in your tracks. But, you know, some other things to add on maybe, you know, they're fantastic in fishing scenarios. You know, whenever we're throwing the cast net, as soon as I throw, I'll press the button, I'll drop the power poles just to make sure I don't drift over the top of my cast net. Another great scenario, say you were to catch a fish out of a particular fishing spot, what you can do is you can just press the button, drop the power poles, and stay on that exact spot and catch more fish rather than repositioning your boat. So being able to push that button, stop there in your tracks, is a huge game changer. Last but not least, we're gonna talk about stereos. And our stereo is something that is very important to us, and especially Stephanie, because if you guys haven't already noticed, she's typically dancing in some of the shots whenever we're out there shooting the videos. And that's simply just because we love music. We like it loud, we like it clear, and we like it to sound good. And you may think to yourself, oh, I don't need a stereo, I can just bring a speaker out with me. But I can promise you, you know, the sound of waves, the sound of your engine is really loud, and once you get up on plane and you start running in that boat, you won't be able to hear over that little Bluetooth speaker that may sound loud inside of your home. It's an entirely different situation once you're outdoors in open space. So, this may not be something that you need, but this is something that we absolutely love when it comes to boating. You know, whenever you go out to a restaurant, or say for example, you're into bars, you go out to the bar, there's always music playing. And the reason why is because music always heightens emotion. It always makes every situation that much better when you have some good music playing. So that's why we love stereos. But when it comes down to it, whenever I'm buying a new boat, the first things I'm always considering is power poles, trolling motor, GPS, and a stereo. Another thing to consider too, guys, is boating is difficult. It's a very hard process sometimes. You know, some days the weather's perfect, it's glass calm, you have nice clear skies, and then other days it's just downright dirty and it's nasty. So by having these tools on your boat to make things as easy as possible, it's always gonna make your experience better overall. So if you guys love boating, if you like fishing, I definitely suggest subscribing to the channel. We're always here to bring the best content we can possibly produce. And if you guys always want to be notified of the latest, make sure to hit the subscribe button and of course give this video a like. And don't forget, Un-Duz-It products down in the description below. But Until next video, we'll see you guys then. Thanks so much.